Hello, friends, and welcome to the Million Dollar Message. This is Tiffany Stout from the Austin, Texas area, and it is time for your Wednesday Wisdom. So glad that you have called in today. And I wanted to share with you today, well, a couple of things. Number one is, actually, they're both kind of tied together. So really, it's about tracking and tracking your numbers. And we all know that a tracked number grows. And I'm not typically, and I think I would say, like, prior to coming into Mary Kay, I'm not like really a numbers person, but numbers are important. So I've learned them in this business, and I think any business, when you're running a business, you're going to have to look at numbers. You're going to need to learn numbers, and you're going to want your numbers to grow, right? At the end of the day, bottom line is that we are in a for-profit business, and we want to make money. We want our numbers to grow. We want to see them getting bigger. So a tracked number grows. And so I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about tracking your time as well. So as I looked at the date for today, I was like, oh, it's January 15th. And that means that we are 1 month into the quarter right now. So, of course, we hopefully all know that we are in the third quarter of our Mary Kay year, and we want to be tracking our quarter so that we're star consultants all the time. So I'm going to share this quick little just story for you. When I was a consultant many years ago, when I was newer in my business, for probably the first 2 years, I was really bad at numbers and tracking and star and all the things. Now, I always wanted to be a star consultant, and I was working my business, and I was selling and parties and doing all of the things that we should be doing. But I wasn't really managing my money well. And what that looked like for me is that I would kind of hoard all of my money from my sales, and I had inventory, so I'd sell products and I'd deliver it to people, but I wasn't ordering. I wouldn't place my order. And then as soon as it would get close to the end of the quarter, like March 15th, for example, of this quarter, I would place a huge order and finish and become a star. Instead of tracking my star on a monthly basis and a weekly basis. Now, we know the STAR program is a quarterly program. There's 4 quarters in the year. Each one is 13 weeks long. And if I was tracking my sales every week, if I sold $300 every single week, then I would have $1,200 in my hand at the end of the month, and half of that you can use to order product, which would be $600. That replaces all the $1,200 of product that you sold. So I would have $600 to place an order in that month. Now, if I do that 3 months in a row, boom, I'm automatically a star consultant, right? So it really does come down to tracking your sales on a weekly basis, having the goal to sell 300 at least every single week so you can always be a star consultant. So tracking the sales and managing your money correctly, and then placing your order in a timely manner. So if I were you, the smart business thing to do if you want to be a star consultant this quarter would be, okay, look at where I'm at right now. Do I have $600 to place a wholesale order today? Or have I already done that in the last 30 days? Because you're 30 days into this quarter. So hopefully that is making sense to you. And then your goal by February 15th would be to place another 600 at some point before then. And that way you're on track. Now you've 1,200 in towards your star. And then by March 15th, you've got another 30 days that you can be selling and order another 600, so you are at least at the Sapphire Star level at 1,800. So that, breaking it down into monthly chunks and then a weekly goal of sales has always really helped me. And it's so much more fun to do it that way because I knew I was on target. It was so much more fun for me to place a $600 order than to place an $1,800 order all at one time. I was like, ooh, I mean, I have the money for it, but I'd rather just do it consistently. And then I always have the products on hand that my customers are needing because they're always running out at different times. But really tracking makes a big difference. So are you tracking your time, where you're at in the quarter, what week you're on, so that you know, okay, I'm on target because it's the 15th and I've got my 600 in. So by every 15th of the month, you should always have 600 wholesale in. and really tracking all of your numbers. Now, tracked numbers do grow. If you want to see your sales go up, start tracking it. And that's going to come, of course, when your number of faces goes up, your number of parties goes up, number of people that you're talking to goes up, your number of leads goes up, your number of referrals goes up, the number of people that you open your mouth and introduce yourself to goes up. So all of the things work together that the more that we do, the more we're thinking about it, the more we're talking about it, the more we're going to be attracting that to us, the more we're thinking about our business and the more we're prioritizing our business, the more it will come to you and you'll start to notice it. It's almost like I was having this conversation with some of my girlfriends today in my Bible study small group, and we were talking about just how you start to notice things. People were talking about their word for the year and just how once you've chosen a word for the year, how all of a sudden it starts to show up more for you. And it's almost like you're drawing it to you, just like when, let's say you're in the market for a new car, or maybe your spouse is because you're driving your pink Cadillac. So maybe your spouse is looking for a new car and you're considering different options, and then all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere. Like the car, maybe the two cars that you're considering, you see them everywhere. You're like, oh, there it is again, there it is again. Or like I know when I was pregnant with one of my 4 children, probably all of them, I would know I was pregnant before maybe everybody else knew. And so in my head, I was pregnant and I knew, but nobody knew. But then all of a sudden, everybody around me was pregnant. Like I'd see all pregnant people everywhere because you're kind of drawing that to you. So when you put it out there, hey, my goal is to do 3 parties this week or 5 parties this week, and you talk about it, you think about it, you're sharing it with other people, you're picturing it, you're visualizing everything, you're going to draw it to you. And lo and behold, you might have a friend call you out of the blue that's like, hey, you know what? I would love for you to show me a little bit about your products or your skincare. I had a friend, one of my girlfriends at the same small group today just asked me, she said, can you help me with my makeup? I really need some assistance. I'm 50 and what I'm doing isn't working. And I said, absolutely. So now we are scheduled to do that. So it's just what you're putting out there, you're going to receive more of that back. So are you putting your goals out there? Are you tracking your goals? Do you know exactly what your numbers look like? How much do you sell per face that you see? Well, if it's not as high as you'd like for it to be, then maybe if you tracked your faces, you did more of them, your number would go up. So these are all just ideas. It all ties together because the more you're tracking, the more you can be selling, the more you will be making, and the more goals you will be hitting. Because, man, being a star will be effortless when you're seeing faces every single week and tracking your way to get it done. So I hope this message helps you today. Really think about what you bring about. What you think about, you bring about. Oh, my gosh, I can't even talk because I'm getting so excited just thinking of all the things I'm going to do when I hang up the call right now. But what you think about, you bring about. My mom always said that. So what you think about, you bring about. What are you thinking about? And are you thinking about what you're thinking about? I know it sounds crazy, but really, we got to think about what we're thinking about because that is what you will be drawing to you. So track those numbers, ladies, and I pray that you have an amazing day. God bless you all. Bye-bye.